Shalom. This week's Torah portion, Vayishlach, contains the continuing story of Jacob. Most notably, it contains two stories. One about what happens when Jacob and Esau actually meet after 20 years, and the other, how Jacob struggles with what the Torah calls an ish, a man. But did he really struggle with a man? Was it an angel? Was it his own self? All the commentators disagree on who this ish really was. We shall see. After 20 years working for Laban, Jacob gathered together his 11 sons, his daughter, his servants, and his flocks, and set out to return to Canaan. He was still worried about what his brother Esau would think, and was he still angry with him because he did steal the blessing and the birthright, and he couldn't understand how Esau could not still be angry with him. So they traveled westward, and they came to the Jabbok River. They camped for a while by the river, and towards evening they all crossed the river and set up camp for the night on the other side. Well, Jacob realized that he'd left some pots and pans on the first side of the river, and he would have to cross back and get them. So he crossed back across the river, and when he got to the other bank, there was a shepherd standing there. "I've had a long day's work and I'm very tired. If you help me carry my sheep across the river, I will take care of your pots and pans for you." Jacob thought this was a pretty good deal, so he agreed. And at that moment, the pots and the pans rose up into the air and floated across the river. This was kind of amazing, but a deal's a deal, so Jacob picked up one of the sheep and he carried it across the river. And then he came back and he did the same with a second sheep and a third, and so on, into the night. Well, he realized, wait a minute, the same number of sheep are standing here. But look on the other bank. There's a whole bunch of sheep there that I carried across that are grazing on the grass on that side. Then he realized what's going on. "You're a sorcerer, a wizard. Stop this magic right now." With that, the shepherd took his staff and struck the ground with it. The ground began to shake. Flames came up out of the ground, licking at Jacob's heels. But Jacob wasn't afraid. God had told him, "Jacob's house shall be a fire and a flame." "I'm not afraid of you or of the fire. Let me cross." And with that, the shepherd started to shimmer. And he turned into a celestial being, an angel. And it was Samael, the guardian angel of Esau, who had come to struggle with Jacob. They started struggling, and they struggled all night. And one couldn't get the better of the other. And then toward morning, just before dawn was about to break, Jacob got Samael into this wrestling hold that Samael couldn't get out of. Samael thought to himself, "Why can't I beat this man? Maybe he is also a celestial being, an angel." So Samael reached out his hand toward Jacob's thigh, searching for the joint, because angels don't have joints, but men do. And sure enough, Samael felt Jacob's thigh joint underneath the hollow of his thigh, and he pinched it hard. And Jacob cried out in pain, but he did not let go. And dawn was getting closer. And Samael pleaded with Jacob, "Please, let me go. I have to be back in heaven. I sing the baritone solo in the heavenly choir this morning." But Jacob wouldn't let him go. "I will not let you go until you bless me." Samael was trapped in this kind of convoluted wrestling hold he couldn't get out of. Dawn was approaching. He really did have to get back to heaven. He thought to himself, I really have no choice here. So he turned to Jake. He leaned back so he could talk. "What is your name?" "Jacob." "You will no longer be called Jacob. You will be called Israel, God wrestler. For you have struggled with divine beings from heaven and have prevailed and triumphed." Then Jacob said to the angel, "What is your name?" And, "You cannot ask my name." And Samael blessed Jacob, and then he started to shimmer, and he disappeared. Jacob looked about, and he named the place Peniel, because he had seen heavenly beings face to face, panim el panim, face to face. And he had lived and survived so that he could tell the tale. So Jacob crossed the Jabbok River and went back to his camp, limping as he did so because of where the angel had pinched his thigh. And they continued on their way, and Jacob met Esau. They came together and they embraced, and they cried on each other's shoulders, and they made peace. Shalom.